Yay! So we are about to get started. I'm so delighted that you all are joining me this evening. Hi, I'm Dr. Cassandra Bolar, and thank you for taking the time to invest in the health of your marriage. So we're about to get started and we're about to get underway in just a moment. Oh, I'm so excited, giving people a little grace. I always try to give people a little bit of grace before before coming on in. So, hi everyone, my little poof. So, hi everyone. I'm looking forward to the call tonight. I've been very prayerful about it, and if you can go ahead and tell me, like, where you're from, when you're getting married, if you're engaged. It's going to be interactive. So, I definitely want this to be a conversation. Where are you from? When are you getting married? Or if you're already married, really knowledge is key, and knowledge is very essential for operating at the optimal level when it comes to marriage. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started tonight. I'm going to pull up the presentation. Oh, hi. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in, Jacinta. I pray that this time will be very helpful for you. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to get into the meat of today's time together. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, okay, so that you can see what I'm seeing as well. So let's go ahead and here we go. Ooh, it's not what I meant to show. No, okay. Oh, my screen is going. Okay. Oh, my screen has paused. Technology can be funny at times. So I know you can probably see me. I am trying to stop the pause on my screen. So, okay. Alrighty, so hopefully you can see my screen, and we are going to go ahead and get started here tonight. Feel free, if you have any questions, feel free to stop me. You know, really this is all about building an unbreakable marriage, and I'm going to talk about the 8 keys for doing that. And so first of all, I just want to let you know that you are in the right place if you are very serious about having a healthy marriage. Also, I want to let you know that you are in the right place if you want your union to honor God and uplift others around you. I just want to let you know you're in the right company, okay? Also, too, I want you to know that you are in the right place when you know that you want to be proactive with your marriage. You know that good marriages don't just happen by happenstance, okay? And at the end of the day, you're in the right place. It doesn't matter what your relationship status is. Granted, you know, a lot of people who I've met recently have probably met you at a bridal show or something of that nature, but really this is relevant if you're serious about having and building an unbreakable marriage. So if you're really wanting to build an unbreakable marriage, can you put in the chat, yes, that's me, I'm in the right place, I'm in the right place? All right. So let's go ahead and move on. And really, I'm just like you. I have the same desires that you do. And granted, I'm not perfect in this process, you know, but I just want to let you know where I'm coming from. Okay, so this is not just based on opinion. You know, there are a lot of relationship experts out there, which I think is wonderful. This work needs a lot more people dedicated to the field. I just want to let you know that I've literally dedicated my life and all of my educational training to this because because it's really a part of my passion. So I'm a certified family life educator through the National Council on Family Relations. I'm also a marriage and family therapist. I'm a researcher. I'm a professor. I teach at the University of West Georgia. I've been blessed to be married to my sweet husband as well for, yeah. And also too, I'm a mother, I'm a mom. And so I have two little people who I get to love on each and every day. And so I'm just very excited to, let you know that I'm in the same boat as you. I feel like I'm in the right place as well tonight. And just wanted to let you know a little bit about the approach, the educational approach that I bring. This isn't necessarily therapy, but it's relationship education, okay? And in that respect, we have at Uplifting Relationships, we have a three-pronged approach. One, this is not just my opinion, like I said before. This is based on what has been proven through the sciences. This is evidence-based and it's empirical, okay? So this work is undergirded by what we see at the aggregate level to be effective, okay, for people at the aggregate level. And at the end of the day, all the research is really doing is just proving what we already know through biblical principles, okay? So also too, this work is undergirded by biblical principles. And then lastly, I'm not the type of person who wants to keep it all out there in the abstract. It's really, what are some practical, actionable steps that I can take from this education, okay? Because that's really where the rubber meets the road, is through the implementation, okay? And so what you're going to learn today is, especially for my newlyweds out there, what is really wrong with the typical way that people address having a successful marriage, okay? And then we're going to get into the meat of tonight's web class, okay? And looking at the 8 keys for an unbreakable marriage, okay? Because at the end of the day, no one walks into marriage with the desire for it to dissolve, right? But as we do know with the trends, that is what happens to a lot of people. So we all have the same desire, but how do we come out with different outcomes? Okay. And then also too, I want you to stay until the end, because I do have a special offer for couples who want to dig a little bit more deeply. Okay. There's only so much that I can kind of give you in this time that we have together. So I'm going to kind of talk for about 45 minutes or so, maybe not even that long. And then also too, for everyone who stays until the end, I do have a special giveaway for you. So let's go ahead and really think about, like, okay, so I want to talk about how when we prepare for marriage. So most people go to premarital counseling either through their pastor or the person who's officiating it, and then that's it. And then you're launched. And then they say, okay, go have a healthy marriage, right? But, oftentimes people don't have a guide for those years. They don't have a way to check in. So I'm going to dig a little bit more deeply in that respect. But when I tell you that a healthy marriage and healthy relationships or unhealthy relationships are bad for your health, the reality of our ability to be able to relate well to one another in one of the most critical relationships of our lives is literally a matter of life and death, literally. Okay, so Harvard did a 75-year longitudinal study. They're still conducting it to this day. And the main point of this study, they were trying to determine what predicts health and happiness and longevity over the lifespan. And above and beyond anything is having close, loving, healthy relationships. And when you do not have those healthy relationships, when they are unhealthy, they're literally bad for your health. They literally stress you out with your stress response system. I don't have enough time to go into all that depth, but I'm just giving you a highlight and overview of that. And so what we do know is that everyone has the intention of having a healthy marriage, but what we do see is that on average, 40 to 50% of people do not get to that outcome of until death do you part in the US. And so at the end of the day, we want to defeat those odds. And as I said before, you're in the right place. If you want to honor God with your marriage, we definitely want to defeat those odds, as body, as members of the kingdom as well. And the beautiful thing, okay, success can be predicted. It can be predicted. If you engage in certain strategies, success can be predicted. You may say, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Okay, I'm going to put on my professor hat, okay? So Dr. John Gottman, probably one of the most renowned researchers when it comes to looking at the science of relationships and marriage. And so what he does is he has what we call a love lab. And it's an observational lab, but it looks just like a regular apartment, right? And what he does is he brings newlywed couples into that love lab and he observes them. And what he does is he looks at how they engage with one another. And what he has found is that he can predict, based on how they talk to one another, based on how they engage with one another, whether or not these couples will divorce. He follows them long term. And he can predict up to 94% accuracy whether or not these couples divorce. And the way that he can do that is by observing 4 negative behaviors. One, he calls them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, right? And the reason why he calls them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is because they're just that detrimental to the well-being of the relationship. 1, contempt. 2, criticism. Okay, attacking that person's character, who they are as a person. Stonewalling and defensiveness. Those 4 things, when they come up, they're like sulfuric acid to that relationship bond. So, but like I said, success can be predicted. So what's wrong with the way that people go about addressing a successful marriage is the fact that most people do not have adequate preparation and education. They don't even quite know what they're getting into. Okay. And also, too, what we see now, we're talking about creating an unbreakable marriage and a bond. So we don't want to wait until the house is on fire, completely consumed, to say, I think something's wrong. Right? I always say that it's easier to prevent a fire rather than fight a fire. And what we see on average, okay, so I said before, I'm a marriage and family therapist. What we see on average is that most couples wait 7 years while they are in distress. They wait 7 years before they seek help and support. And by the time they come see me, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, there's so much distance. Think about if you had cancer for 7 years and never went to the doctor. There'd be a high likelihood of death. The same thing is when we have issues in our relationships. So most couples wait until they are in crisis. And I love this quote by Benjamin Franklin: an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So education can be your prevention. And when success is being predicted, success doesn't just happen. We have to plan for it. We have to create goals, we have to create strategies, and we have to create an action plan. All right? Because everybody has this whole abstract idea that I want to have a healthy marriage. But everyone doesn't necessarily know the type of work to put in or creating a plan of action. We'll dig a little more deeply into that. We'll dig a little bit more deeply. But preparation is one of the greatest signs of your faith. Okay. And so what's wrong with marriage prep is that oftentimes a lot of people, it's a lot to plan a wedding. How many people are here and they're planning a wedding? Is it a lot? It's a lot. It's a lot emotionally. It's a lot that goes into it. So oftentimes people are just inundated with prayer, preparing for that wedding day. And while they're also trying to get prepared for the marriage. And so most people think that they don't need education on the basics of having a healthy relationship. They think, okay, if I go see my person, 6 weeks before, and I check that off my list, then I'm ready. okay? That may not be the case, okay? And with the outcomes that we see, that definitely is not the case, okay? So the beautiful thing about your marriage is that it's not static, okay? We're about to get into the meat of the eight keys, right? But your marriage is never going to be static. Either it's going to be progressing or regressing. Either it's going to be growing or it's going to be deteriorating. There is no in between. Okay, and so most people do not have a strategy for success. They don't have a strategy for success in marriage. They think it'll just happen. It'll just happen. Oh, we're soulmates. It'll just happen. But let's dive in. This is the meat. These are the keys. Aren't those keys so beautiful? I love them. So these are the keys, the 8 keys for an unbreakable marriage. Number 1, divorce cannot be an option. Number 1, that's ground rule number 1, right? And you don't want to play around with the possibility of divorce. I see it all the time in therapy. Sometimes people throw that out there. So, even making that commitment, even before you get into a marriage, all my newlywed couples or all of my engaged couples out there, this has to be your anchor. Okay? And the beauty of commitment is not dependent upon a feeling. And commitment is a willingness to do what you said you were going to do long after the initial feeling you made your commitment fades. So that whatever, because what happens, we're excited when we first make that commitment, but we have to maintain that commitment, even when we don't necessarily feel like it. All right? So, number 2, for an unbreakable marriage, forgiveness is given freely. Now, let me tell you this about the forgiveness piece, is that when it's a muscle that you have to exercise in marriage. And forgiveness, hear this, forgiveness preserves the best version of yourself, okay? And what's important to do is to recognize the humanity of your spouse. Take their perspective. Forgive him or her quickly, because unforgiveness serves as the root to bitterness and bad behavior. And you almost feel validated in your bad behavior when you have unforgiveness operating, even at a biological level. The University of Tennessee, they've done a lot of research looking at the physical effects of forgiveness and unforgiveness. When you are operating in unforgiveness, you're more likely to get sick. You're more likely to catch colds. You're more likely to feel pain in your body. So your immune system is depressed. I mean, there are a host of different issues that unforgiveness can manifest physically in our bodies. And what they see from the research is the negative emotion that creates a connector for the negative manifestations in our bodies. So forgiveness is a muscle, guys, that you have for that unbreakable marriage. It's essential. It's essential. Now, number 3, we're talking about an unbreakable marriage, right? So I also teach a personal relationships class at the University of West Georgia, and the Psychology of Love course. And I talk a lot about social cognition, right? And really, social cognition is nothing more than how you think about social experiences, right? And so when we're thinking about your experience in a relationship, we can have 2 different lenses. One can be a lens of criticism in alignment with one of those 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, or we can have a positive lens which cherish our partner. And the thing about it is that you will not be able to control every experience that you have, but you can control your filter. Okay, so and then also 2 class. I'm so used to saying class because I'm always in class, but I was about to say class, but so forgive me. But the thing about it is that you have control over your filter, and your filter is wiring your brain. and it's something that you have control over. So if you have that positive filter, what's going to happen is you're going to give positive attributions for your partner's behavior, right? Even when they make mistakes, you're going to give them grace. But when you have that negative filter, every experience, good and bad with your spouse, goes through that negative filter. That should be negative filter here on the left side. And you give your partner negative attributions for their behavior. And therefore, your experience is coupled with your negative filter. And even good things, when they go through that negative filter, they come out negative because of your lens and the lens by which you are looking at your relationship. So tip number 3, you have to have a willingness to check yourself. Check your lens. Is my lens critical? Is my lens critical? Am I always finding what my partner is doing wrong? Or am I grateful? Am I cherishing the good that they do? And when I voice that, what does that serve as? It serves as positive reinforcement, right? It serves as positive reinforcement. Y'all get me excited up here. And in that willingness to check yourself, you have to also check your own selfishness, because that stuff's gonna try to come up as well. But marriage requires the unselfless giving of yourself, okay? And also to check your empathy, taking your partner's perspective, putting yourself in their shoes, and checking yourself in respect to your bad habits. Don't give yourself an excuse or an out. If we were watching you and it was a sitcom of your life and of your marriage, how would you view your role? Okay? How would you view your role? And so you're definitely responsible for yourself. Okay, so we're moving on. We're moving on. So, how to create an unbreakable marriage is first to realize that you're on the same team. And you want to see, the thing about it is that issues are going to come up. There are going to be some uncontrollable variables that come up in your marriage life that you never saw coming. You don't know when they're going to happen. You don't know what they're going to be, but they're going to hit your relationship. And at the end of the day, you want to fight with your partner instead of against your partner. You want to fight with your partner against the issue and not against them. Okay, so you have to establish your standards for addressing issues. I always say that it's easier to come to an agreement before the disagreement. So what's our rules of engagement? What are going to be my standards before we walk into a disagreement? Because at the end of the day, your problems have a shelf life. And at the end of the day, when that problem has expired, you're going to be left with your marriage. So you want to make sure that the way in which you have engaged has been in a way that doesn't undermine the integrity of the relationship or the integrity of your partner, or, hey, the integrity of yourself. Okay. Oh, this is getting good. I'm enjoying myself. How many? Anybody out there in the chat enjoying yourselves? Okay. Now, also too, I do a weekly live on the Uplifting Relationships page, where if you want me to cover a particular topic, I'd be more than happy to do so. It's very interactive. I can't quite see all the chat right now, but I'm going to definitely get to it. Now, remembering that you're also on the same team when it comes to communication, right? And so you want to have effective communication. And I always say that effective communication has not occurred until there is mutual understanding. And I always say, you want to have a soft startup. You want to lay the table, even if they need to eat their greens, right? You want to lay and set the table in kindness. Okay, and I call it the stroke before you kick method. Okay, you need to speak to the good in your partner before you bring up an issue with them. Now, I have a whole host of information on how to effectively, address conflicts and things of that nature, but we don't have time to do that now, right? But I've talked a little bit already about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling, right? So you want to remember we're on the same team. We do not want to engage in those relationship killers, right? You call them the apocalypse. Yes, that must be very deadly. Also, too, we're trying to create an unbreakable marriage. So we need to foster that bond, right? So if it's unbreakable, I need to do things that foster my sense of connection and my bond with my marital partner. And the reality, okay, so I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the suffocation model. So, or maybe not even the suffocation model, but sometimes we look at our marriages like planting a tree. We set everything up, we plant the tree, and we leave it alone, and we think that the water will just shine, the water will pour, and the sun will shine, and we don't have to do anything. And really, what happens is a lot of times people neglect their marriages and they get lazy with it. Come on now, I see so many people in therapy. So I know this through experiential knowledge, and then I also do know this through the research. And the reality is if you do not prioritize intimacy, as I said before, your marriage is not static. And so I love how Gary Thomas says that it's not like planting a tree and leaving it alone, setting it up and doing all this work to get it all ready. It's like building a house brick by brick by brick. Every single day you continuously work on the house, and even when it's built, you do your renovations, you clean it up, you do your maintenance work. That's what a marriage is like. And so you have to prioritize your intimacy, because your intimacy is your bond. And this is, of course, more than just sex, right? But the beauty of sex is that in marriage, what we see is that oxytocin is released when sex occurs. And that is the neurochemical that is involved in bonding. It's the same neurochemical at play when a mother nurses her baby, and it connects that mother and that baby. Oh, it's so special. So we're trying to make it unbreakable. So we want to make that connection as tight as possible. Nothing can get between the two of us. So, dedicating time every day for connection, talking, getting rid of those digital devices, having a plan. Hey, at a certain time, this is our time to talk. Uninterrupted. We call it phubbing, Phubbing, okay? That's the technical research term for when you're trying to engage with your partner, but they're on their cell phone. They're like, yeah, but they're not listening. So don't phub your partner. Okay, so, all righty. Okay, you want to prioritize intimacy. Go on retreats, read books, speak positively in your marriage. If you need some support, get godly counsel. And commitment thrives in community. And that's what I'm trying to do with uplifting relationships, is create a community, just like what I said, all of what I said earlier. If you're in the right place, that's the community that we're trying to build. Because commitment thrives in community. It does. Now, 6, also too, you want to definitely foster and support each other's spiritual growth. Now, even the research, come on now, even the research shows that when you view your marriage as a sacred institution, you tend to have more favorable marital outcomes. Case in point, so Dr. Tara Hart, her name has changed and she has gotten married. Congratulations to you, Dr. Hart. I don't know her new married name. But she conducted some research at the University of West Georgia. And she was doing the intervention to, improve marital outcomes, things of that nature. And so they had 2 different groups. One group went through the regular intervention. The other group also went through the regular intervention, but the only thing that they added was prayer. And they were randomly selected into which group would have the added element of prayer. And what they found was that the group that had the added element of prayer had better intervention outcomes. Okay, so it does matter, and it helps to keep you accountable. And I say pray for one another. It's not them go get them prayers. It's that, okay, I know you're working on this, Lord, strengthen them and this, that. And it's like those very supportive, loving prayers, not them, you saw what he did to me, Lord, get them. Not those go get them prayers, but those supportive, loving prayers. Also, too, creating an unbreakable marriage requires being friends. I'm just checking my time. I'm doing pretty good on my time. All right. So we want to also first foster a sense of friendship. So Dr. Sternberg, he has a triangle for love, and friendship is a component of that. When we look at couples who make it to their 50th, 60th wedding anniversary, one consistent theme when they do those interviews that they see in those couples is that they have a strong bond and friendship. So the way that you foster that is supporting each other's dreams. The way that you foster that is spending recreational time with one another. And recreational time together is a high priority, ladies, for men. Okay? And that fosters a sense of friendship. And then lastly, dum 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 dum. Lastly, how to create an unbreakable marriage, you have to have a plan for marital success. You have to literally have a plan for your marriage. You need to have a guide. Most couples fail to do this important step. How many couples do you know they have a plan for where the people are going to sit at the reception, but they do not have a plan for their marriage? Come on now. We're going to have in your marriage, you're going to be making the most important decisions of your life. When do we have kids? If we have kids, where are we going to live? Where are we going to buy a home? How are we going to navigate the work-life balance? And so every effective business, come on now, they have a plan. They have a strategy. You are creating the most important business of your life. This is bigger than your job. This is bigger than your career. This is bigger than if you were an entrepreneur. What did Harvard say in their study? What predicts health and happiness above and beyond anything is having close, loving relationships. This is critical life work here, right? And so it's really important to delineate, well, why are we even coming together for marriage in the first place? What is your why? Because your why will be your anchor. And you also want to include some accountability measures. So if you want me to go on, I have something for you when it comes to this 8th point that a lot of people do not do. That actually most married couples do not do. Okay? You enjoying this so far? Is this helpful information? Let me see. Let me see if I can hope this is helpful information. Okay, if I can see the chat. Let's see here. Oh, I'm not the best with this. I'm learning. Okay. Let's see here. Do we have any chats? Okay, let's see. Do we have anyone in the chat? Oh, this is wonderful. I'm having a good time. Okay, let's see here. Alt H. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna learn this. Okay, so here we go. So I hope you all are enjoying this so far. I hope this is some helpful information. If it's helpful information, just raise your hand. All righty. So let's see here. Okay, awesome. Oh, I see 3 people raise your hands. I'm so happy. Hey, 4 people, high five, y'all. I'm so grateful. That's what I'm here for. That's my life's mission, you guys. I'm here for you. Okay, so I'm so happy you're enjoying yourself. So as a recap, okay, so we discussed the shortcomings of how most people address building a healthy marriage, and then 8 reasons why your marriage won't fail and your marriage will be unbreakable. Number 1, divorce is not an option. Number 2, forgiveness is given freely. Number 3, willingness to check yourself and your perspective and your lens. Do I need to clean up? Willingness to check yourself. Number 4, you understand you are on the same team. Number 5, you prioritize intimacy. Number 6, you support each other's spiritual growth. Number 7, you're friends. And number 8, you have a detailed written plan for marital success. And that point is where a lot of people do not have that 8th point. So, do you want to learn more? Do you want to learn more? Oh, okay, let's see here. Can I have the 8 goals for six? Oh, okay, wonderful, wonderful. Can I have the 8 goals for a successful marriage, please? Yes, we got that. We got that. I got that recap. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for, all righty. This is wonderful. So happy. Awesome. Okay, so this is my special offer for you to invest in your marriage, right? And it's called Marriage Head Start. Now, this is something that has been a burden on my heart. So, I do therapy, and I recognize that, oh my goodness, there were some preliminary steps that a lot of people didn't do. And so I created Marriage Head Start to literally give you a head start. So that when you're 5, 6 years, 10, 12, 15, 20 years down the line, you didn't miss these important foundational steps when it comes to forging that healthy marriage. And literally, Marriage Head Start, it is more than premarital education. It is a planning system for marital success. And it's literally a roadmap, and it's a tailor-made roadmap. And instead of saying, oh, I just want to have a healthy marriage, you actually clearly delineate what you want your marriage to look like, and you create that detailed plan. And it's a maintenance program. It's a healthy marriage maintenance program. And you use these resources for the lifetime of your marriage until death do you part. So you create a yearly vision casting for your marriage. What's going to be the theme for your year in this marriage? And then you're going to go into 10 critical areas of your marriage and create a detailed plan. And I give you all the templates for it, and you have that forever. Oh my goodness, me creating Marriage Head Start was due to me implementing the Marriage Head Start strategy. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so helpful for me. I need to share this with other people. And so there are also quarterly check-ins to see how are you making progress. And then you also create a 5-year projection for your marriage. You see, the problem for a lot of people is the only part of their marriage that they literally really saw was them getting married. They hope to make it to their 50s and 60s, but they haven't spoken over what that's going to look like. They haven't created a detailed map for what that is supposed to look like. And that's problematic. I bet you Chick-fil-A knows exactly where they want to be in 5 years. They had those projections. Projections. And so it addresses 10 critical areas for marital success. It addresses first your currency of communication, finances, sex, children, faith, work, family life balance, health and nutrition, recreation, investing in your marriage, and working on your dreams together. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people think that in this romanticism view on marriage that, you get married and then all your problems are gone and you're happy. Your fulfillment doesn't come from a marital status, whether you're single, married, divorced, widowed, what have you. A lot of your fulfillment is going to come from making actionable progress on the mandate and the assignment of your life. And your marriage can be utilized as a tool for doing that. So what does Marriage Head Start include? 6 modules. We start off with the foundation. We create a mission statement for your marriage. We talk about the healthy marriage indicators. At the aggregate research level, what are some of the indicators of a healthy marriage? How do you define that? How do you define the purpose of your marriage that's built on the individual purpose and assignment for your life? And then module 2 focuses on teach me how to love you, right? So we don't make any assumptions. Sometimes we're like, well, you should know me so well by now. I don't need to tell you. No, right? And then also 2, we talk about number 3, effective principles for decision making, because how can two walk together unless they be in agreement? And then we go into the top 10. And the top 10 areas that I discussed on the last slide, we actually create a plan and a strategy for each of those top 10 areas. So you really, literally write the vision, make it plain, but you have some steps to run with, right? And then also too, I teach you the method. So I teach you that it's a strategy. Like I said before, this is not just education. This is a strategy. You know, a lot of people have a lot of head knowledge, but they don't know how to implement it. So you get these strategies for implementation. And then lastly, the last module is really, your marriage is going to go through different seasons. And I talk about the different seasons of marriage and what Dr. Parrott's work looks at with the different seasons of marriage, and how this is a lifelong process that's going to change over time. So what I want to share with you is that I have a beautiful offer. And, you know, the reason why is it's an offer is because we pay attention to what we pay for, right? If I were to give it all for free or what have you, it's so invaluable, really. Honestly, it's kind of expensive to see me on an hourly basis. But I package this in a way that you can get me at a reduced cost through the online training, and you'll always have access to it. And it's truly an investment in your marriage. We invest, some people invest over $1,000 in their dress, but this definitely isn't that type of investment. But I want to demonstrate to you the value of this product. So first, you get lifetime access to the 6 modules for the course. That within itself, that's on the low end, saying it's a $600 value. Now, you also get the planning templates, which is a $200 value. I also give you a suggested reading list of books that really made an impact on me. And then also, too, you get marriage affirmations. You get a template for creating your vision and your mission. This is way more, it's worth more than $1,000, definitely, that value of this work. But I am offering it for every person on tonight. I'm offering it for $197. And even when you go to the website, you'll see that it's more than $197. But when you sign up tonight, I'm taking off, about $50 for if you sign up tonight. Also, too, if you sign up tonight, you will get 2 free tickets to our Preparing Your Heart for Marriage conference that's going to be held this summer here in Atlanta, Georgia, actually in Smyrna, Georgia. You will get 2 tickets for that. Okay, or you could do the 3 monthly payment for $97. And when we're thinking about the impact that this can have on your marriage, this is a dollar in the bucket, and I always say that you want to invest more into your marriage than you do your wedding day. Something to think about. All the thousands of dollars that we spend on that wedding day that we'll keep for pictures, but really creating that plan and that strategy for marital success. And so if you go on the website now, you go to marriageheadstart.com, and you can sign up there. And I'm going to create a special discount for you. So what I want you to do is, for the coupon, it'll ask you for a coupon, and what I want you to do is I want you to put in all caps bridal show, BRIDAL show. Okay, and when you do that, it will give you the discount. Okay, so I just thank you all so much. If you have any questions, and also too for everyone who's able to stay in on the end for tonight. Let me see who all is here. Oh, wonderful. Okay, okay. Wonderful. So we have that question there. I'm going back to the chat. Let's see, we have a hand raised. Let me go to the chat. Do, 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 do. Okay, so Miss Kiana raised her hand. Okay. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Yes, it's got to be. Okay. Yay. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to. So I see someone who raised a hand. If you have a question, feel free to post it in the chat box. Oh, I'm so happy, Jacinta. Yes, it's all self-paced, and you'll always have access to the materials and the information. Yes, I definitely think that it's a wonderful, helpful resource. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to send me questions via email. My email is upliftingrelationships@gmail.com. But just as a reminder, if you sign up tonight, you do receive those 2 tickets for the conference that's going to be held. It's going to be actually held on July 18th. Okay, it was originally going to be held on Father's Day weekend, but I didn't want people to be out and about for their Father's Day, so it's going to be held on July 18th in Smyrna, Georgia. And so it'll be a full day's conference. We're going to have someone coming in talking about finances. Of course, I'll be teaching. I'll be teaching a lot during that day, but it's going to be interactive. I want it to be something, everything that I do is not just the information. I want you to act upon the information. Okay, definitely want you to act upon the information. But I just want to make sure that I have a list of everyone who signed in tonight. Wonderful, wonderful. And I will send you an email for the 5-year planning template. Yes, because I want you to succeed, and I don't care what you do when you come on my webinars and my trainings. I want you to leave with something valuable. I want you to leave inspired to take action, to invest and make your marriage into the beautiful marriage that you want it to be. Well, I know it's kind of late tonight, so I just wanted to make sure I had a period of time myself. I wanted to ensure that it wasn't over an hour. So I met my goal. But yes, God bless you all. Just know that I'm praying for you, and I hope the best for you. And we'll definitely have that discount there tonight. And if you buy tonight, then you will receive the discount, as well as you will get you will get 2 tickets to the free tickets to the Uplifting Relationships Premarital Count Preparing Your Heart for Marriage conference this summer, July 18th in Atlanta. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Just as another thing, I'm always doing teachings, usually every Wednesday night on my Uplifting Relationships page. Also, too, if you have subscribed as an email subscriber, check your junk mailbox. Sometimes it may go there. I usually send out a weekly email. And yes, it is a self-paced course. So you can take however long you want to get through the information. And may you guys just be blessed and know that I'm out here rooting for you and praying for you. And I want you to have that successful marriage. And I enjoyed you all tonight. If you want to see me again, you can see me on my lives, or you can feel free to ask questions like we do. And it's just on Facebook on the Uplifting Relationships page. So I enjoyed you all so much. May you have a wonderfully blessed night, and good night. Oh, I'm so happy you enjoyed it. This is so exciting. Oh, this is wonderful. You guys take care, okay? God bless.